Hello and welcome. In the next 20 minutes, we're going to take an under-the-hood look at how Citrix and Microsoft have partnered to make the world of hybrid and remote work better. Better for your users, better for your IT team, and better for your budget. It's a timely topic and familiar territory for Citrix and Microsoft. Making the work experience better is what we've been doing together for over 30 years. I don't think any of us need convincing that the nature of where and how people get work done has changed. Where we once had neat and tidy boundaries of work and home, flexible working is here to stay, and it presents unique IT challenges. Of course, work is happening everywhere. If we did a quick virtual show of hands, I'd be willing to bet less than half of you are watching this session at the office. Some of you are at home, some might be in a public location, and who knows what type of device or connection you're on. But suffice it to say, many of us are outside of IT's secure perimeter. But what hasn't changed is our expectations. We still want everything to work seamlessly, connections to be reliable, and app performance to be exceptional. Add in something like these high horsepower 3D CAD apps or an employee working in the field, and the pressure on IT to deliver gets even higher. And cyber threats need no introduction. Pick any research study about remote work and cyber threats, and it's a sobering reality. KPMG, for example, finds that 60% of executives say remote work has led to increased risk. And they talk about an endless threat loop of fraud, compliance risks, and traditional cyber threats. Again, if you were all here in person, I think we'd see everyone's hands in the air in agreement. So given this new reality, let's look at how we tackle these challenges with IT solutions. Citrix DaaS, the cloud-managed evolution of Citrix's traditional app and desktop virtualization and VDI services, is really at the center of how we enable secure remote work. I think by now we all know what desktop as a service is, how it solves flexible work challenges, and why so many IT leaders are investigating DaaS solutions today. We could cover an entire session on DaaS alone, but today we're focused specifically on how Citrix solutions bring exceptional value when paired with Microsoft's native offerings, Azure Virtual Desktop and Windows 365. AVD and Windows 365 are both great ways for making cloud VDI and cloud PCs available to users, but you can accomplish so much more when you bring Citrix into the mix. Today, we're going to highlight some of those specifics, which include creating a hybrid cloud architecture for DaaS that lets you continue using your on-premise investments and legacy apps while simultaneously taking advantage of the flexibility, scale, and performance that Azure has to offer. Making the entire administration effort behind app and desktop delivery more efficient, easier, scalable, and more repeatable for IT. Giving your employees a user experience that's second to none. Improving security across the entire stack at rest and in flight with stronger adaptive authentication and zero trust. And lastly, reducing cloud operating costs and complexity so you can preserve more of your budget and limited IT resources. So let's jump right in and talk about hybrid cloud. The on-premises data centers, which almost all of us have, present both a challenge and opportunity when it comes to modernizing app and desktop delivery. On-prem, we have legacy multi-tier apps, existing Citrix and Microsoft VDI deployments, and a lot of sunken costs in hardware that we can't easily or affordably walk away from. Yet we understand that future investments and the best solutions coming out of Microsoft are happening in the cloud. And that dichotomy is exactly where Citrix becomes so valuable in helping you build a hybrid cloud deployment for app and desktop delivery. Citrix allows you to build a hybrid infrastructure that fully supports Windows 10 and Windows 11 multi-session desktops in Azure, using integrated tools and services that simplify and speed your transition to cloud, while leveraging Azure Virtual Desktop license entitlements. Managing all your cloud investments in one place with Citrix simplifies capacity planning, scaling, administration, and monitoring. Let's take a look at the architecture that makes this possible. Here we see how you can use Citrix DaaS to create the best hybrid cloud architecture that manages Azure and on-premises resources, all from a single pane of glass for admins and delivered through a single experience for users, regardless of where the apps and desktops are hosted. We can deliver Windows and Linux apps or desktops from a broad array of platforms with the best possible performance, scalability, and flexibility. Citrix technologies like advanced autoscale help control costs, while Citrix Analytics provides visibility into performance and security. And everything we're describing has been developed with Azure performance in mind, so you know it's been tested and proven in a hybrid cloud environment, leveraging the latest Microsoft innovations. Azure is incredibly powerful, but we need to be smart about how we allocate and power manage virtual machines to avoid overspending. That's where Citrix's advanced autoscale comes in. Not only can you use schedule-based and load-based settings to control machine power states, but you can also create cloud burst scenarios, dynamically provision and deprovision machines based on capacity requirements, and intelligently log off and drain users from hosts when sessions are idle. Keeping the number of VM image templates to a minimum is another key win for IT efficiency. Citrix app layering ensures that you only need to manage single instances of base OS images, application portfolios, and tools to efficiently compose your images. This is a huge time saver, avoiding the need to manage updates to Microsoft Office and other applications across dozens of individual golden images. And in a typical hybrid environment, you have on-premise VM images and cloud VM images, and they are distinctly separate, but not anymore. Citrix Image Portability Service allows easy transferring of VM images from on-premise environments to cloud environments across Citrix's proven provisioning technologies, enabling cloud burst and migration strategies. Finally, Workspace Environment Management Service, or WEM, optimizes VM resources for sharing on multi-user hosts. With WEM, you'll see faster logon times, improved scalability, and strict enforcement of policies. Not using WM is literally leaving money on the table, as baseline configurations typically save customers 10 to 15% in cloud consumption while improving their experience. Let's now take a look at the user experience side of the equation. Lots of vendors offer DAS and cloud PC desktops, but just presenting a user with a desktop isn't enough. We need to consider what the performance of that desktop looks like when running interactive voice and video applications, multiple monitors, industry-specific peripheral devices, and performance over challenging network conditions. Only Citrix delivers the best user experience with our HDX suite of user experience technologies. Unmatched in the industry, you can count on your most demanding workloads and apps being delivered with responsive sessions and full functionality to any type of device, including thin or zero clients. When it comes to optimizing Microsoft Teams, this is a space Citrix pioneered with Microsoft over a decade ago with Microsoft Lync and later Skype for Business. Teams optimizations ensures your sensitive data remains secure in your desktop images, while voice and video offload take place securely on the broadest array of devices, including Windows, Mac, Linux, and Chromebooks, delivering a near-native experience and ensuring that meetings stay productive. And to ensure you're working more proactively instead of reactively, there's a Citrix Analytics for Performance, a cloud-delivered tool built in Azure that leverages machine learning and AI to predict problems and areas of interest in your environment, while also automatically assessing each user's performance with a unique score and impacting factors. You don't have to wonder if your cloud migration is delivering a great user experience. Citrix Analytics gives you the data to show your IT leaders. Creating better user experiences with Citrix HDX technologies has always been a key differentiator for Citrix, and we're excited to bring that to new platforms like Windows 365. Check back during Ignite for more information about this upcoming release. Earlier, we talked about how threats never rest, which is why security is fundamental to everything we do at Citrix. That's why so many regulated industries like healthcare and finance consistently choose Citrix solutions to protect their sensitive data. Citrix Analytics for Security is built on top of Azure and uses cloud machine learning and AI to continuously assess the risk of every user in your organization, along with automated policy controls, reporting, and SIEM integration with solutions like Azure Sentinel. Adaptive authentication is a cloud service that ensures users are securely accessing resources based on how and where they're connecting. It takes a modern approach to device assessment, MFA, and network conditions before determining what the user should have access to, if anything. Session recording is now a cloud-hosted service and is great for not just security and compliance, but also pinpointing elusive issues that can intermittently occur. You can quickly identify areas of interest based on user activity and user actions that occur, like copy and paste, or inserting a flash drive, and review full fidelity user activity at a later date. And lastly, endpoint devices are inherently insecure, especially unmanaged ones. Citrix app protection policies protect your environment from malicious or accidental data breaches by allowing IT to block common points of leakage like screenshots, screen scrapers, keystroke loggers, and more. Let's take a closer look at adaptive authentication and app protection. We talked at the beginning about how the boundaries of work have dissolved and everywhere is now an office. That diversity of where and how people work has created a complex landscape of devices and locations for IT to try to control. Add in mergers, acquisitions, contractors, and constantly changing employee roles, it's easy to understand why managing security, specifically identity and access management, is an immense and overwhelming task. Citrix Adaptive Authentication helps admins implement uniform zero trust-based identity and access management policies across applications, leveraging Citrix DAS for virtualized apps and desktops, and Citrix Secure Private Access for non-virtualized apps like web and SaaS content. Adaptive authentication lets you create conditional authentication scenarios, challenging users with different authentication methods based on their device posture, location, and more. For example, users can be challenged with multi-factor authentication when outside the corporate office, but single-factor authentication when in the office. Adaptive authentication also enables admins to selectively turn on and off access settings like clipboard access, printer redirection, watermarking, and drive mapping. And remember, these capabilities apply to both virtualized as well as web and SaaS apps. With the use of virtual apps and desktops, the attack surface of endpoints has been greatly reduced because data and apps are centrally stored in the cloud or data center, making it much harder for the attacker to steal your data. That's because the virtual session isn't running on an actual device. However, a compromised endpoint could capture session keystrokes and information displayed on the device. In this demo, we'll look at how app protection prevents two common types of malware, keyloggers and screen scrapers, from creating a data breach inside a virtual app or desktop with Citrix.
Two common types of malware that can lead to a data breach are keyloggers and screen scrapers. Keylogger malware works silently on infected devices, sending each keystroke back to an attacker. The attacker can then harvest sensitive data like usernames, passwords, or critical corporate information. On the other hand, screen scraping malware secretly and periodically captures what's presented on the user's screen. When employees access sensitive company data like company financials, customer lists, or PII, personally identifiable information, attackers can grab the information and sell it to the highest bidder. Citrix App Protection defends against both of these types of malware and comes as a built-in component of the Citrix Workspace app. This means users don't have to install additional software or plugins for protection, and corporate data is 100% secure when accessed from unmanaged devices. App Protection's anti-keylogging capability encrypts text before any keylogging tool can access it. A keylogger installed on the client endpoint would only capture hashed text, instead of the keystrokes the user is typing, making the malware useless. App Protection's anti-screen capture capabilities prevent screenshots or recordings of the user's screen. The screen capture malware would be unable to detect content within protected apps, returning a blank screen when a screenshot is taken, rendering screen capture malware ineffective. By leveraging policies like Citrix App Protection, administrators can protect sensitive data, regardless of endpoint. Learn more at citrix.com.
Okay, the last thing I want to cover before we wrap up is the cost savings, IT efficiency, and productivity side of the coin. Citrix has always been focused on helping IT increase efficiency. But to put dollars and cents behind it, we partnered with Forrester to have them independently study the benefits of Citrix DAS and Azure. If you're familiar with a Forrester Total Economic Impact or TEI study, you'll know they derive a composite customer profile that closely matches that of a typical large enterprise, which is detailed in the report you can download. What Forrester found is that by using Citrix DAS in conjunction with Azure, a company like yours is going to see a spectrum of financial benefits that actually pays increasing dividends year after year. The big takeaway for today is that by using Citrix with Microsoft, IT becomes more efficient, onboarding new employees and provisioning apps and devices becomes much faster. Related help desk calls for issues with apps, Windows, and devices goes way down. Employees gain a measurable boost in their daily productivity, and on-premises and licenses cost are reduced. Add it all up, and it comes down to a 153% ROI and $6.7 million in savings over 3 years. Now, that's some smart IT economics you can take to the CFO and the bank. You'll definitely want to grab that link and download the full report. We know the pressures that IT is under to enable secure hybrid work, fulfill cloud adoption plans, keep everything secure, and do it all while keeping an eye on the bottom line. What we've built with Microsoft is the pathway to getting there. Our joint solutions and tools are going to make your team more efficient, allow you to scale faster, strengthen security, and do it all in a way that keeps user experiences amazing while driving down expenses. A few final things to leave you with. Sign up for the new HDX Plus for Windows 365 public preview. If you're just getting started with DAS, there's a 7-day trial of Citrix DAS on Azure, which is the perfect way to give it a test drive. Or if you want a more consultative approach, you can meet with one of our experts for a demo. And of course, you can learn more about everything that Citrix and Microsoft are doing together at citrix.com/Microsoft.